so what we were saying 2 weeks ago when this happened was that the Internet as we've come to know it might be gone. And maybe you will be able to access those websites, but maybe it'll cost you a little bit more money. Maybe that money will flow from those costs will flow down from the services you subscribe to. So let's say you're a Netflix subscriber, but now they're being forced to pay a little bit extra to reach you. So maybe your subscription costs are going to go up. Maybe your internet service provider like Comcast is going to charge you a little bit more to access certain sites because they've cut a deal. So $5 extra a month for Facebook or $5 extra a month for Google. Those things are all within the realm of the possible, and there are a lot of other things that will be less perceptible that will be going on, probably are already going on, that will lead to, in 5 to 10 years, we'll realize that the Internet, as we know it then, is a lot different than it used to be.
Well, leaving aside the fact that I'd pay $5 not to have Facebook, the real question is, I mean, this really, once I connected with this issue, it really made me mad. Because I'm thinking, I paid the taxes that created the Internet. People like us create the content that makes all of us, whether we're Facebook, whether we're bloggers or website developers or just people who use social media, the public created the content that made the Internet valuable, and now they want to restrict our access and pick our pockets more for it, and it just fries me. And what happened 2 weeks ago was apparently the Bush FCC, correct me on any of this if I'm wrong, the Bush FCC decided that it was going to regulate the Internet as if it was what? Not a something, and as if it was a something else, and that's what led to this problem. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so about 12 years ago, there was actually a decision made by the Bush-era FCC Chairman Michael Powell to deregulate the FCC's authority over the Internet. And what that means is that previous to that, the FCC had the ability to enforce net neutrality-like rules. It had the ability to stop broadband providers from discriminating against users and against content. And what Powell did in 2002 is he actually switched that around, and he classified broadband services in a different way, which gave the FCC a lot less authority over that and removed its ability to protect Internet users. And so we've been living with the ramifications of that decision ever since. And in the late 2000s, we started to see a lot of abuses from providers like Comcast, which blocked BitTorrent, which is an Internet service, purely because it wanted to. And it was sued by the FCC, and the FCC lost that case because it did not have the proper authority to stop Comcast from doing such a thing, and that's what led to the passage of these 2010 Open Internet rules that were just thrown out. But those rules were also passed in a way that didn't give the FCC the appropriate authority, and without that authority, without classifying broadband in the appropriate way, the FCC simply can't stop these service providers from abusing Internet users and the Internet itself.
Well, why don't they just change it? Can't they just say, well, we were classifying you as this kind of provider, but in reality we see now that 12 years is a long time in the technology world. Reality, we see now that you're this other kind of provider, so we're reclassifying you and cut out the funny stuff?
They could do that today if they wanted to. Unfortunately, this has become a political issue, and telecom lobbyists have funneled hundreds of millions of dollars to lobbyists in Washington to convince the FCC that it can't take that step, that step would somehow be a problem for the companies. And so the FCC has heard that message, and it's been reluctant to make this move and take the step to reclassify broadband. Meanwhile, the public and Internet users around the country have gotten angrier and angrier